So the lawnmower repair hobby business has slowed way down this week. Haven't gotten anything in since last Friday, I believe. No, I guess never mind. I got the pressure washer, I guess Monday. So regardless, I mean, it's slowing down. Possibly have a couple customers in the pipeline this week. Possibly, I think one said he's going to try to bring it in tomorrow. The other one, he's talked about bringing his stuff over a lot in the past, and he never does. He never makes promises like, yeah, I'll bring it over tomorrow and anything, but he struggles with money. I know he does, and that's his biggest driving factor. As a matter of fact, he contacted me yesterday and asked me how much I charge per hour, so he could get I guess I am presuming so he can get an idea of how much it's going to cost him to repair his lawnmower. The problem he has is he cuts grass for a living. So I would imagine right now he doesn't have a lot of money, but to get his mower repaired for lawn cutting season, but he's going to need that mower for lawn cutting season. I suspect he'll ask me if I'll give him some credit, which, you know, I might be able to do that and let him pay me off in payments or installments or something. We'll see. He's pretty well known, and it's unlikely he can hide from me too long. I don't want to do that, but he's already recommended other people to me. So it seems like we're building a relationship of some sort, partner business relationship maybe. But regardless, it's you know, I recommended his lawn cutting business to people, and he's recommended my repair business to people. So I could maybe help him. But I'm kind of just, you know, waiting for business. But I don't feel like it's been all that bad this year. It seems like it's hit pretty quick. I've been watching the other YouTube channels, the big ones, and it does not appear they're getting a lot of business right now. I watched 3 or 4 of them, and I guess 4 of them consist, 5 of them, that's it, 5 of them, pretty consistently. And the smallest one that I watch, he seems to put out a video very consistently. He puts one video out a week, and it seems like he's always putting out a repair video. It's not any fill in the gap because I don't have any business videos. It's the last one he did, he replaced a solenoid, not a solenoid, a ignition coil on a little Cub Cadet. So I mean, you know, that's business. The others, which are much larger, the next biggest one, let's put it that way, he hasn't put out a video in a very long time. So I would say he's not getting any business at all. Now, I don't agree with that. I feel like I need to figure out a way to come up with a plan to put out 2 videos a week. I may downsize that one of these days, make it 1 video a week, depending on how well the channel is doing. If I see the channel, what they call this type of channel, the lawnmower repair channel, is evergreen videos. And what they mean by that is those videos will always get views because people will be searching for them, or they'll come up in somebody's feed. Always, you know, how to service a John Deere, for example, and my video will come up for the next 10 years. That video will come up. But when you're talking about off-grid living, you know, those are short-term videos, and you're always having to make a new video all the time, every day, to keep up views. So if I find that 2 videos are too much and it's saturating the channel, then I can back off to 1 video, and I don't think anybody would even notice. Whereas if I skip a video on this one, I'll get 20 people saying, hey, where are you today? So I think this other channel is just so much easier to run. So, and then the next largest channel is a female, and I mean, she's been doing fill in the gap videos for a while now. She does 1 video a week. And the last one was this different type of weed trimmer heads that you can buy. So it wasn't a repair video, it was just a kind of an advertisement for different weed trimmer heads. I didn't even watch it. I played it, so I didn't hurt her watch time, but I walked away from it. I wasn't interested in it at all. And then let's see, the next one, he lives up in Canada, so he has business pretty much year round. But even at that, right now, he has made 2 videos about lathes. It's not a lathe channel. He just bought a lathe, so he's been kind of playing around with it. But he's not making repair videos anymore right now. So, but throughout the winter, he was making snowblower videos because, I mean, they get a lot of snow up there. And then the next largest one, again, he kind of put in a fill in a gap video this week about ignitions, you know, key ignitions for the lawnmowers, different types. So just filling it. So I'm pretty impressed with myself is the whole point. I'm getting business. Now right now, like I said, I'm slow, but I am getting business. And I'm really excited about that. It's, if I'm guessing, that's all it is, it's a guess. If I'm doing better already than these big YouTubers, I can't even tell you what the summer's gonna be like. Wow, I'm pretty excited. And like I've said in the past, this is kind of a vacation area or a second home. People have second homes here, and they're not down yet. I mean, some of them come down, you know, once a month or so to check on their place. But around here, you can actually hire people to go around checking on your place. So they'll go in, make sure the plumbing's still okay, and the light, you know, everything's working, and then you know, I don't know, just make sure everything's still up to par, you know, no trees have fallen down on it. So people actually pay people to do that around here. But they'll be coming down probably, you know, right around Memorial Day, maybe a little early. Of course, they're gonna have to come down to cut grass, but even at that, that guy I was telling you about who has lawnmower or lawn care business, he's already getting people saying, hey, I'm not coming down for a while, can you cut my grass? And so they're paying people. So we'll see. One of the things that is nice about living in this area is the people that have a primary home and then come down here for a secondary home, they will bring me their stuff from their primary home. So Kansas City is primarily where they all come from. Some come from the St. Louis area, St. Charles area. I've had a couple from St. Louis area, but most of them come from the Kansas City area. And so they'll bring their stuff down to have me work on. There's this one guy who's brought me every piece of equipment he owns, I think. Maybe not, but I mean everything. Zero turns and push mowers. What else was there? There was a snow blower. And a pressure washer. And so it's just, you know, over time I'll be able to, you know, maybe suggest to these folks, hey, if you know anybody in your area up in Kansas City and needs lawnmower repair work, you know, maybe we could work out a deal or something. You bring it down and I'll give you a little bit of commission, you know, whatever. So there's huge potential for growth if I get too slow. And the other thing is, you know, I'm trying to figure out if I want to do follow-up communications. I mean, I know there's this one guy who's going to want his lawnmower serviced, but he hasn't contacted me yet. Should I contact him? You know, I talked to Carolyn. He said, nah. She said, nah, don't do that yet. You know, you don't want to sound too pushy right now. But, you know, maybe in the future that's something that we can consider to start, you know, sending out notices. Put it on the calendar and they can, hey, your mower's up for service. And that way they get them in here early. I think that's an important thing. Get it in here early before grass cutting season, and that way they're not itching to get it back and they're calling me every day. So there's this new other fella, and he's supposed to bring me his lawnmower. He said tomorrow. I don't know if he will. I don't think, like I said earlier, I'm not sure where I left off. I got interrupted on this video, but he has given me other stuff before. And it turned out that I couldn't repair it. Well, I could repair it, but it would have been way too expensive to repair. And it was an antique. It was a chainsaw. It was an antique, and so I don't know how well he trusts me. So he calls me up yesterday and he says, I got this John Deere, and I bought the carburetor off Amazon, but the fuel line, you know, where it goes in, is on the other side of the carburetor. And I said, oh, that's a concern. It should be a match. It's I don't know. And he argued and said, no, you can get this on there. It said that on Amazon it's a LA 105 or whatever, John Deere. I said, well, I can try to put it on. I'll do whatever you tell me, but I don't know if it's going to work. well, it's got to work. I spent $30 on it. I can't return it. And I said, well, you can return Amazon stuff. And I explained exactly how he could do it. But I'm not really sure he's all that confident that I'm telling the truth. But what I suspect it is some John Deere, 1 year will get a bid from Kohler, and so they'll use Kohler engines that year. And then the next year they may use Briggs & Stratton or Kawasaki or, you know, whatever. All you have to be is certified to supply engines to John Deere, and they'll buy the cheapest one. So I suspect that when he typed in LA 105 John Deere, it came up with, let's say, Kohler, and he has a Briggs, and which actually makes sense, because on a Kohler, the fuel entry is on the inside of the carburetor, and on Briggs it's on the outside. So he may have just gotten the wrong name brand. So this morning I messaged him that and explaining that, and he read the message and he didn't reply. So I'm concerned that he's not liking what I said. So I mean, I don't know what to tell the guy. So I don't know. I didn't feel like I was charging a lot. He asked me how much I charged, and I told him, and he even acted surprised by that. And I'm like, I mean, that's nothing. I go to Dollar General and I can spend more at Dollar General in 5 minutes there than what it costs for an hour's worth of my work. So I don't understand what everybody's big deal is about my cost, but apparently they think I should work for free, I guess. I don't know. So I suspect things are going to start picking back up here pretty shortly. As soon as the people from the cities start coming down to their second homes, I'm sure it's going to pick up. Of course, you got the folks who are going to start mowing. I really wish I could convince people to come in early. I mean, that's what we've got now, but I wish I could convince more people to come in early, especially those lawnmower repair lawnmower businesses, lawn care businesses, because when they come over, they need their mower right now. Last year, one guy came over and he wanted to know what was wrong with it, and he said, I'll be back over in an hour, see how you're doing. You know, and then he ended up coming over and helping, and it was just, I'm not a big fan of that. I've told you that in the past. One person wanted me to work on their property and this year, and I don't want everybody looking over my shoulder, because sometimes you run into things and you got to think about it. For example, I mean, a lot of times you run into people doing work on their own equipment. There's a blower over there, and it's clear that somebody broke it. Somebody got into it and broke it, put it back together, and tried to hide the fact that it was broke. Then they had me look at it. I mean, even the bolt was bent. I mean, maybe they dropped it and it broke it, but it was clearly taken apart, looked at, and put back together. Broken. So, you know, when you run in that kind of stuff, you don't want people looking over your shoulder, because, you know, you got to figure out what you're going to do with that. Do you want to Permatex that brake, or do you want to buy a new part? Oh my goodness, the part's $100. Let's see if we can repair it. You know, those kind of things. You're trying to help the customers, what you're trying to do. And then you got some guy standing over your shoulder. The one I'm talking about is, I went over their property, and she was in and out looking over my shoulder. So what she ended up doing was calling her neighbor, and her neighbor came over and sat over my shoulder the entire time, complaining about how cold it was and wishing I would hurry up. I don't know how you stand it. You need to step on it. And all I was doing was draining gas. I mean, what more can it comes out at a certain rate of speed. They had like 10 gallons of gas. It was a one of these huge log splitters. It had the saw. You put these huge logs on it. It would cut it into lengths that you measured out, and it would come down and cut it, and then the conveyor would move it down and split it. And so it was one of those big ones, and they had 10 gallons of gas in it, and it was bad. The gas was bad. So I'm not a big fan of that, but I suspect things are gonna pick up, and the other channel is just doing fantastic. I'm very excited about it. Everything I Google, everything I search for says I'm doing it right. I try not to spend a lot of time talking and more time working. Because that's one of the things that turns me off about videos is first thing they'll say is, how you doing today? This is Tom with, you know, whatever. I don't do that. I say, okay, we got a John Deere today with a V-twin engine, and we're going to do a service, or we're got a carburetor change. And I try really hard within 30 to 40 seconds to get to work. But there's some of these, you'll do a search on Google and you open it up and you're scrolling for first 4 minutes, getting through the babble of how he's owned his mower for 16 years and it's done great and everybody should own one. Too bad you can't buy them anymore. It drives you insane. So if you will, click this up next box. It will take you over to my other channel, and I guess we're doing a service actually. I'd really appreciate it if you could watch those videos. So I hope I can inspire you to start a hobby business, because it is great fun. Sing of your dreams. Thanks for watching.